episode. I really enjoyed this episode, yo! For multiple reasons. One reason is that the CGI, thank you, it picked up ever so nicely. Oh, that CGI was great this episode. Thank you. I have no problems with the CGI in this episode, so great job with that. Another reason why we like this episode, Shaltir and that yandere laugh. Oh, she nailed it. She nailed that yandere laugh. Yes! Oh, that was great. Beautiful when she laughed in this episode. I was like, yes! That was so good. So good. But the main reason why I really enjoyed this episode was the tone and the setting. Let me explain. So you see, as we all know, and I've been saying it all throughout my reviews and stuff, is that Overlord is not a game anime, okay? It has game elements, sort of like Danmachi, but Overlord is a dark fantasy. And with this episode, they basically force it into your mind that this is definitely a dark fantasy, okay? When they were calling out their spells and everything like that, like Cry of Banshee, like, yo, how does that not scream a dark fantasy, man? He's just so like, Cry of Banshee, and I'm like, yo! And then, you have it to where the setting, how the backdrop, it goes into like a sunset twilightish mood there, and I was like, ooh, this looks nice, and how it like slowly eases into night, like you didn't notice it, kind of like, every day, when you kind of just, at some points, at one moment it's daylight, the next oh, the sun is already halfway down, and then finally it's pitch black, and you're like, whoa, when did this happen? That's basically how it was like in this episode. And the last thing that I really liked, well, that helped keep the setting of it being like a dark fantasy, you see, mainly when it comes to dark fantasies, it usually takes place in like a medievalish type setting, okay? And that's what Overlord has. It has that somewhat of a medieval vibe to it, okay? And so the dialogue that Shaltir and Ainz had, oh, that was great. That was great. I love it when characters like these have this sort of dialogue. Let me explain further on that. You see, it was mainly toward the end that I really noticed it, and that's when I really got hyped. And that was when Shaltir, she's all like, well, I do have to admit, and she like starts complimenting him on things like that, but then she also admits that like he has like no MP left, but she still has some MP left and things like that. And then Ainz, he's just still like, well, I thank you for your little bit of praise. And I'm like, yo! I just love dialogue like that. When you have people fighting, but they'll still give compliments to each other's moves, I love that. I live for that stuff, man. Even though that stuff can kind of be cheesy, even when you're calling out like what moves you're doing, it's still somewhat cheesy, but I love it anyway, okay? It helps set the tone, and I loved it, okay? Great job with setting the tone and the setting and everything like that. Great job. And next week is the finale episode. Oh boy. So, who is gonna win? We will have to find out. And how will that person win? Again, we will have to find out. So, catch you tomorrow as we review Ore Monogatari. I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.